So you have to list out all your favorite games.
Hundreds a lot to thought, but there's no room to waste.
Even if you ponder it so very long, someone on the internet will tell you you're wrong.
Top 100 games
From the A-Team.
Top 100 games.
Watch a 10 live stream.
Top 100 games.
You'll enjoy it too.
Almost.
One of these times we'll get it.
Hello, welcome to the Dice Tower. Today we have our top 100. I'm Wendy Yi.
I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
I'm Chris Yi.
And I'm Roy Cannaday.
Today we are...
What?
Welcome back, Roy!
Hey!
I slept a lot.
I ordered
That was
him a
fun.
voice overnight on Amazon.
Yeah.
Just came in.
Advanced shipping is really good.
Not to brag, but we are Prime members.
We are Prime. That is a Prime voice.
We have
right
that
there.
new Amazon hub built, so you can get stuff like quick style.
For sure.
Now,
So
not to
today...
brag. Sorry, go
Oh, you're
ahead.
bragging.
I am bragging. I'm so excited.
Today we are doing numbers 90 through 81. Pretty excited about this. Are you excited?
I am. I noticed that
Bro.
I've got half of these are games that were previously on the list that I did 4 years ago, top 100 list, and half of these are new. So this will be a good mix of stuff to talk about.
Well, that's all new to my list. Go on.
Hey,
I got some old, I got some new, I got a lot of in
borrowed,
between actually.
some blue.
Yeah, I think my list is going to be very interesting because I was telling Mike when he was setting some stuff up, like normally I like sift out some of the collectible card games or trading card games or miniatures games and things like that, and I didn't necessarily do that this time since it was all on Pub Meeple. So I ranked them with everything else. So I don't have anything too crazy this week for that, or this
Warhammer
Right.
30K.
Hey, it's a lot of
Yeah.
Warhammer.
All right, well let's get started with Chris's.
It says, yes.
All right, so starting with number 90. This is one of the older ones here. It's a game called Isle of Skye. Isle of Skye it's this great little tile laying game. People often say like, "Well, why would you play this over Carcassonne?" Well, because the tiles that you lay is one small part of it. This is also a price setting game. I really like this mechanism where you have those player shields over there. You dealt 3 tiles, and you're basically setting the price on each one. And so the price that you set, and then you'll reveal, people can buy the tile from you for that price, or if nobody buys a tile from you at that price, then at the end of it, you are going to be paying that amount to the bank. So you can price things high if you want to try to keep them, or if you think, I'm going to price this pretty high, I bet Camilla's going to buy this one from me, because she wants to jigger it into her little map arrangement over there. So jigger, yeah.
I do enjoy
Word of the day.
Jiggering it.
But yeah, it's got cool basic stuff, adjacency, whatever. You know, it's got the tiling thing that I like, but that price setting mechanism is so unique and fun. It's in a few different games, but not that many. So that's what I think makes this one stand out for me.
Very nice.
Number 90, Isle of Skye, From Chieftain to King, the subtitle that nobody ever remembers, including me. Forgot that
As
was
you're
there.
reading it on the wall, right? Yes.
Yup.
Awesome. All right, my number 90. I am so excited about, and I'm so excited, especially as of like 30 minutes ago.
Really?
I know my number 90 is Betrayal House on the Hill.
Oh, yeah.
I love this game. It has fallen for me recently, but that's because there's another game that I'll talk about later that's kind of replaced this one for me in giving me kind of the same feel, but it isn't as broken. So admittedly, this is a very broken game at times. Some of the scenarios just don't work. But yeah, in Betrayal House on the Hill, it starts out cooperatively, where you're going into a house and trying to discover different rooms and kind of seeing what's going on in the house. And so as you go through, you're collecting different objects, discovering different rooms which have positive or negative effects. And at some point in the game, it's going to trigger a haunt, at which case one person becomes a betrayer. And I love that mechanism. I love that you don't know going into it who is going to be the betrayer. You know, so it becomes a one versus all in most in most scenarios. Some of them remain cooperative, or is every man for himself. But I love that tension in the beginning when you don't know who that betrayer is going to be, and so you're like, oh, I'm cooperating, but maybe not also setting up in case it's me, you know, and like everyone's kind of secretly hoping that it's them. I think most people hope it's them. Odd. Do you?
That's a good question, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people who don't want it to be them because there is a little bit of that stress. Of,
It adds pressure.
I have to.
pressure.
I have to read a separate rule book now, right? Because now
Right.
the rules when I'm the betrayer are different.
Yeah, you go into another room, and you're like, see, I like it. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, so I'm really excited. I love this game. I have so many stories coming away from it. You know, in the different items you get, and the different ridiculous natures of it, even the broken ones. You always walk away with a story, and so I really, really enjoy Betrayal at House on the Hill, and I'm excited for the 3rd edition that's coming out, which hopefully fixes some of the brokenness. So we'll find out.
Do you remember the first time we played this?
Yes.
You got an item that
See,
said
you
like.
always remember.
You got an item that said like you cannot take sanity damage or something like that. I ended up being the betrayer, and I had to kill specifically
Yes.
Wendy with sanity damage.
Yeah.
With the particular item I had. Like
Yeah.
I was the
Yeah.
person with that,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is completely broken. Got it. But we had a fun time.
Yeah, but aren't
think,
there rules
you
for
know.
like stealing items from each other?
There are.
I was dragging a body around the house in that particular one. That was,
Yeah, it's
that was
fantastic.
great. You
It
know.
is so
Yeah, I
just-
think you can definitely steal items from people if you like do the right
you have to
attacks.
go
Yeah.
and
We
like,
weren't
do the
taught
right damage, and so did you read the rule book?
I think I was just too good at you not stealing things.
Yeah,
Who knows?
that
You're a
is also
terrible
thing.
betrayer. That's what it's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a blast with that game,
It's so
so
much fun.
it's
I love it.
definitely does theme first, you know,
does,
before
yes.
mechanics. But
Yeah,
it's
before
fun.
even like, you know, rules and brokenness. But that's
Yeah.
okay because theme is fantastic.
You
It
know
is
what
really
you're
fun,
getting.
though.
Yes.
And you're getting a betrayer.
And you're getting a betrayer. Most of them.
Okay, you mostly know what you're getting.
Or everyone's the betrayer. I think that was one of my favorite scenarios when we were all betrayers. It was like, oh wait, the house is actually falling out of the sky, and there's only 2 parachutes. So first person to grab a parachute and jump out a window.
Have you played the Scooby-Doo version of this yet?
Yes, I enjoy the Scooby-Doo as well. I like Blood and Grit, so I prefer this one over Scooby-Doo. But I do really like that one for a more family-friendly version of it. So yeah, my number 90, Betrayal at House on the Hill. So good, theme first.
Nice. My number 90 is Tapestry. This game is all about them tracks. So you're building a
So theme first.
civilization. Theme first, 100%.
Oh,
No, this is all about moving up on tracks. Your tracks are your actions. You have to spend little resources to move on them, but they let you do cool things. And in this game, you kind of have to choose between 1 or 2 out of the 4 that you're kind of really focused on. So you can explore on the board, you can do some fighting army-ness stuff and try and gain control of things, or you can work with like culture and stuff and make these cool equipment cards and that kind of stuff. Or you can straight up go science and say, hey, I want to be a scientist, I want to learn fun things. It's the theme is there, it's barely there, but there's some cool puzzling that goes on boards. There's lots of tracks, and I love tracks. So, Tapestry.
If you haven't played the
stuff.
newest expansion that has the 5th track.
I have not played the 5th track.
Okay.
It's a 5th track
I need
theme.
more tracks on my tracks. But yeah, Tapestry, number 90.
So my number 90 is a game where you get to bluff and lie to the other players as you're trying to sneak things in past the Sheriff of Nottingham.
What's the name of the game, Roy?
Oh.
Sheriff of Nottingham.
Should have seen that coming.
But yes, this is a fun game where like you put little things in a bag and you're trying to like, if you have sets of things, you can be able to put those through pretty easily, like the normal goods like apples and chickens and bread and cheese. But there are also contraband items that you can try to sneak in and slip through. One of the fun things in this game that you can also do is pretend like you're lying even though you're not, because if the sheriff stops you when you aren't lying, then they have to pay you for wasting your time. So it's fun to just kind of like be a little bit sketchy or like try to trick the sheriff these different ways. And then sometimes they'll be like, oh, you tricked me last time that way. Then the next time you just shove it slap full of contraband and be like, oh, well, it's apples. Remember what happened last time, sort of thing. And then they just let you get away with all sorts of craziness. I'm not necessarily really good at this game, but I have a blast playing it. It's just so fun that pressure of like them holding the bags and the snap is just so satisfying. I've only played the original first edition of this one, but I really enjoy the game and it's a blast playing. So,
Excellent.
Cool.
but yeah,
Awesome.
Sheriff of Nottingham, my number 90.
Brian, thank you again for the super chat. 60% of the time, I'm right every time.
Oh, what if he tracks that?
Yes. With
Where'd you get that statistic? We need to know.
the magical mathematics and
You're
that
going to
mean?
compliment
I
Chris.
think-
Bring the data. I
think
need to see the spreadsheet.
Brian also likes spreadsheets.
40%
I
of the
love
time,
spreadsheets.
you're wrong.
Spreadsheets.
How many of us don't like
Ouch.
spreadsheets?
Tom.
Do you
I
like
don't like
spreadsheets?
spreadsheets. What are
I
that?
love spreadsheets.
Are they like betting or something? For
Spreadsheets are basically
No.
tracks.
room?
This is how it goes.
No.
I like fitted sheets normally. They work better.
You know what I like? Your number 89. Do I like your number 89?
You know what I like is Quattro
I doubt
Pro.
that you've played it, but I think
like
that you
Quattro
would.
Pro.
I think you'd be charmed by it. My number
Oh,
89
charmed.
is Medieval Academy. This is an awesome card drafting game. Oh, so Isle of Skye was 25 4 years ago. This one was 37 4 years ago. So inevitably, these games that I haven't played as much lately are just gonna slide down, and tons of great games come out. But this is one of the first card drafting games we played after Seven Wonders, or right about the same time. What I love about this is you have a hand of 5 cards, pick one, you pass them along, you do the normal card draft, Seven Wonders style, but you keep them in your hand, and then you go around the table one at a time playing cards out. So you're drafting a hand of cards, playing 4 of the 5 from it, and so you're never going to be able to play that there's going to be one card you don't get to play. You're trying to move up these tracks for the purpose of being further ahead on some of them to get points. You don't want to be furthest behind on some of the tracks, like the dragon one or the or the bad stuff ones on the side, because you'll get punishment if you're too far behind. So there's this fun push and pull of like, I'm going to jump ahead here. Oh no, you jumped ahead of me on that one. I can't be in the back. It's really charming. It does the card drafting thing in a way that I haven't seen too many other games do besides like Blood Rage, where you draft a hand of cards and then slowly play them out. And there's something really satisfying, super charming about this theme too. I love that art, aesthetic and everything. So you don't take it too seriously, but it's a fun competitive game.
I like the art on the cards in this one, because the lower cards you have like the knight, and he's this scrawny little guy, and then as it moves up in levels, he ends up getting like buff and really awesome and is like great.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just fun how it like
Little
moves with
touches
the
like
numbers.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's charming throughout. So number 89, Medieval Academy.
Nice. My number 89 is my favorite game that you've ever taught me, Chris.
Whoa. Wow, I'm not very high.
89 is good.
Okay.
Do you know what it is?
I'm going to guess, is it the first game that we ever taught you?
I have no idea.
Okay.
What was that one?
It's Airlines Europe.
It's not Airlines
Oh,
Europe.
okay. No, I have no idea then.
No, it is Meeple Land. I really enjoyed this one.
yeah.
I love theme parks, first of all. Like I do. I think that they're very nostalgic for me. Growing up, Metro Atlanta, Six Flags over Georgia was like my theme park. I got a summer pass, so I saved my money for every summer to buy that season pass and go with my brother. So I love theme parks. And in this game, you are building a theme park. Going between attractions and different roller coasters that you're trying to kind of puzzle out. And you can see on the tiles, there's different guests that are attracted to different kinds of attractions. And you get those, you want to have the right amusement park in order to attract the guests that are coming in on buses. And so there's this really neat mechanism as well where you see the colors that are going to come in, the type of guests, but you're all kind of vying for those same ones, and so it's kind of that little bit of push your luck, like, oh, when do I stop so I get to get the exact ones I want, but I need enough turns in order to have the places in my park to get them. And so it's a really neat management, I think, of that. It has a really neat player interaction, I think, in that realm. So I really enjoy it. I thought it did well with the theme, and I like amusement parks. So theme.
That's
cool.
your favorite one that Chris taught you.
Yeah, that's my favorite one that Chris taught me. He's had some pretty rough ones.
He has.
I want to say, I said yesterday, I did through like 170. I think 5 of my lowest were ones he taught me. 5 of my lowest, like 15 or so. So
Not necessarily games that I was like, ooh, let me show you something from my collection, but like, oh, we got to review stuff. But a few of those.
Some of them from your personal collection.
Fantastic. We'll talk about this later.
Ooh, where was Castles of Burgundy on that list of terrible
We
games?
don't
You
know.
taught me that. No, you did teach that.
He
You
taught it,
played
but I played it,
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't even rank that. I didn't even consider it. It was not in consideration.
Instantly gone.
Yeah, I was like,
Mike is giving a thumbs up right now.
That
Look, I
was-
taught it. I didn't say that I love it, nor recommended it for you.
I like it. It's not my favorite, but it's not on this list for sure. Okay, well, my number, what are we on? 89? 89? Yeah. Okay. Mine, this one, Camilla actually taught me.
Oh.
So this is Rush MD.
Oh, I love this game.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I love carry on.
This is the one, right? I did pick the right game.
Poker face.
Right. I'm really good at Sheriff of Nottingham, as you
No,
can see.
so this is a real-time game where you're in a hospital and you have to take care of patients, and there's just pure chaos going on. And I really enjoy real-time games. I've only played this once with Camilla, but it's gonna happen again at some point because
All right, accept.
I'm all about that absolute chaos. Let's just do surgery when we have no time left and we're just trying to pick up hearts awkwardly, not with our hands. And it's great. It's great. It's wonderful. And the syringes in this, you stick little wooden, I don't know, circles in syringes. Cylinders in syringes. It's great. It looks like medicine, looks like blood. It's fun. There's so much chaos going on. It's wonderful.
There is. Yeah.
Absolute wonderful.
Yeah, for sure. You're definitely having that level of cooperation where you're like, you know, I gotta do this. Oh wait, I already started it. Oh, hold on, I'm in the syringe. You know, yeah, it definitely gets chaotic.
Yeah,
in this
definitely.
too.
So that's my number 89 is Rush MD.
My number 89 is a game that is kind of like a head-to-head battler game, but it also feels a little bit like bag building, deck building, and that is Marvel Dice Masters. So I played this game like before it even came out. I did a lot of like playtesting for like the second expansion. Actually, I think that expansion. But yeah, I did a ton of playtesting with that, and I really enjoyed the game. And I just love games where you get to head-to-head fight off against each other, and the fact that they've added all sorts of different IPs to this, so that there's now DC guys in there. You can just have all these different superheroes fight off against each other. And the way this game kind of works is like you are building a team of superheroes. You kind of have them out there, and everybody can kind of draft and build from them, very Dominion style of you have recruit points, you're able to recruit those in. They go into your bag and you roll them out, but then you're going to be using those to attack basically your opponent's life points or whatever to knock them down. But if your guy gets through, then it goes back in your bag. If it doesn't get through, then it just kind of stays out. So you can kind of like build up your characters and build up lines of defense, and there's tons and tons and tons of superpowers in there to kind of like mix up the game as you play it over and over again. I've had a blast playing this. It's definitely slidden for me over time just because I haven't played it as much, but I definitely have enjoyed it. I played a bunch with Tom. I played it a bunch with my old game group back in North Carolina, and I just enjoy Marvel Dice Masters. It's a lot of fun.
So we went on vacation in Spokane, and Chris decided that he wanted to look up and see if anyone was selling any board games on Craigslist.
Yeah.
This was being sold. We drove like 45 minutes to go pick up this
On
game.
vacation.
On
I
vacation.
picked up this and like a couple of DC deck builder boxes.
Yeah,
There's a
something
couple
like
things. I was like,
that.
hey, why
That's an
not?
interesting
Yeah.
way to do a souvenir.
Superheroes.
Like,
You know?
being from Spokane, just like, I got this game in Spokane.
Used on Craigslist.
On Craigslist,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
yeah.
it still has the insert.
It's a local connection. Yeah, off the beaten path.
Yep.
I like this one, but I am glad that there are. I think there are smoother games that have come
Right.
out with this head-to-head battler superheroes theme. I mean, this is years old now.
Right, and there's so much. I feel like it almost is bloated at this point. But if a new set comes in and Tom's like, "Hey, let's throw down and play some Marvel Dice Masters," I'd be like, "Okay, let's play test the, let's play out the new stuff." You know,
Very cool.
it's still fun to just throw it out there casually. You know, I've never played this like seriously. You know, but
Serious.
there you go, Marvel Dice Masters '89.
All right, number 88 is a game that's already mentioned at this table today.
Today?
Today, by me.
What? All right.
My number
confused.
88 is Seven Wonders. I didn't realize that I'd put this right next to Medieval Academy because during Medieval Academy, I said, it's a card drafting game. Played this about the same time I played Seven Wonders. Hey, look,
Which
it's Seven
is it?
Wonders.
It's not as good as Seven Wonders by one slot.
By one slot, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, any given day, I would prefer to play one over the other. I don't know. This is such a classic, though. This is the first game that we played past Dominion, which is our gateway game. I mean, we learned Dominion and Settlers of Catan and Munchkin all around the same time, and we got into Dominion. That was our gateway game. When we ran out of buying boxes and expansion stuff for Dominion, it's like, what other good games are out there?
Because Munchkin is hot garbage.
Heard it here first. We're not the first people to ever have said that. So we got Seven Wonders, and so this is like almost a decade ago now that we've been playing this game. I love it. I really do. It is one of the best. It's not the smoothest because of the symbology, but outside of that, the game is so fun, so smooth. I don't know. I have almost never taught this to someone who wasn't like floored by it, you know? So, well, what can I say? Seven Wonders is fantastic. My number 88.
Brian wants us to hold hands and smile so that he can take a screenshot
Hard pass.
for a super chat.
I touch no one. Oh, I can do that.
Oh.
You look like a cult.
And thank you, Steve, as well, for this,
Yeah.
Steve.
Yes.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. All right, my number 88. Man, I'm like on the Yi train today. This is one that you. Oh, I'm sorry, I set myself up for that one. Start again. This is a game that Wendy taught me, and I really it caught me off guard. It really caught me off guard how much I liked it. It is Draftosaurus. So in Draftosaurus, it's a. Again, I want to put it in the roll and write category, but it's not because you're drafting. I guess it's a drafting meeples, and so you're drafting dinosaurs. So you have a hand of dinosaur, little meeples, and you choose one and you put it in your park somewhere. Again, I like parks. I like dinosaurs. And you're trying to maximize different pens and the points. And so you're going to draft one, and then you trade hands, and draft another one, and you're kind of passing these meeples around in order to maximize your park and I really enjoyed it. We only played it at 2, I think. I've also played it at 3, and I thought that was kind of a cool, hey, I hope this comes back, just like most drafting games. So it's not like super innovative mechanisms or anything like that, but I really, really enjoyed it. It's to me, it's a filler game. It's pretty quick, but it kind of gives me that almost roll and write vibe, but not, because it has the drafting in it, and I really enjoyed that play of it and have.
It does feel
played
kind of like a draft and write, but there's
no
no
but
writing.
that's not any right. Yeah, it kind of I put it in that category.
Cute dino
even though it's
meeples you put
not.
down
But you have a
instead.
board that you're putting stuff in to score points.
In order to score,
So,
the maximum
Yeah.
points and maximize your park.
get that.
Based
Dino
on that.
meeples.
Right. Yes, dino. Oh, that was unnecessary but appreciated. So absolutely, my number 88 is Draftosaurus.
All right, my number 88 is something that has already been on Camilla's list. It was number 51 on my previous list, so it's moved down a little bit, and that is Ink and Gold.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's such a good, this one is like, I'm not a party games person, and this one isn't quite a party game, but it goes to a higher player count and kind of gives those same vibes. Like it fits a small party of close, intimate friends. And so what I know Camilla already explained it yesterday, but what you're doing is you're basically exploring a hidden temple and trying to find treasure and all that cool stuff. But it's a push your luck. You have to get out of there before bad stuff happens to you, and if too much bad stuff happens, you lose everything. So it's a fun, just kind of gambling with other people, trying to see what's going on. I love that I can play it with my daughter now, which is really exciting. But it's just a fun, easy push your luck game.
And what I think sets this one apart, and this isn't something I said yesterday, but what sets this one apart to me is, I talked about that decision of when do you leave the temple, and if you leave, you get to keep all your stuff. But there's also leftovers that are out, and so if you leave, you get to take those as well.
Yes.
Unless you leave at the same time as somebody else.
I love that.
I know, I love
I think
that.
you split whatever leftovers are
You
there.
split whatever's leftovers.
And if there's
is there.
singles, then you don't get anything.
Right,
But
then
then
if
there's
somebody
like
leaves
super
before
valuable
you,
relics that like no one will take.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the really valuable relics, and so it's that, but then if somebody goes before you, then they just wipe everything out, and then you're like, man, now do I keep pushing anyway? And it's just really, there's
And
just
if you're last, you don't have to split any treasures with anybody. So you're like, oh, I think I can
But I
keep
can go
going.
one more.
Yeah.
Let's go one
And so
more.
there's just a lot of layers of that push your luck. It's not just push your luck for that end goal. It's also when do you leave and getting into the mind of others. So anyway, I love that
It's
mechanism.
it's a great game. So that is my 88 Ink and Gold.
My 88 is an area control post-apocalyptic game, and that is Ruination. So Ruination is a game
I feel
where
like you
you're
need to
all
say that
different
with,
like
like,
cons and
stronger
like
voice.
this post-apocalyptic world, and you're gathering resources and trying to build up and like take over different areas. And I just really enjoyed the action selection in this game and the cards that you get with that. And then I enjoyed the combat in it as well. And this is a game that I feel like could go even higher if I played it even more. But I just enjoyed the feel and flair of the game as you're trying to do all the different things. Basically, it's area control. I mean, you're trying to take over stuff and conquer your opponents, which I enjoy a lot of different area control games. And this one has a different theme with the post-apocalyptic on it. So.
It looks so good.
Yeah, have you played this yet?
I
or-
haven't. No, I was looking for a pen. I was like, oh, can we add that or catch up Palooza? I would
Yeah,
love
that
to
is
play
it
this
is
game.
it is one that I've only played a couple times, and that's probably why it's so low on this list. If I played it even more, I could totally see this game
higher.
rising even higher on my list, just because I think it does things different in area control, which is a lot of fun.
I've heard people compare this one to Kemet in
A little
some
bit.
ways.
It's comparable to Commit by the fact of like combat happens, you know. So
Okay.
it like you have to fight each other in this game, and I love area control games where you need to like actually get into it. It just stinks to play an area control game where you never really get to utilize your units or your troops, and you're just kind of like, oh.
Those are my favorite
what are
area
these
control
things?
games.
Well, you're non-confrontational. In post-apocalypse, you have to fight, Wendy.
I'm gonna be one of those people that's like, food for the.
And this looks like your
poor?
hometown, you know, so it's about the same
Probably
thing.
does,
so.
yes.
The desert. Let's do
The
this.
desert, dirt, nothing grows.
Yep. Ruination. Just like Las Vegas, my number 88.
All right, 87. This is one that's new to the list. I should say Seven Wonders was on the list, but previously it was at 34. This one, number 87, is called Chocolate Factory.
Ooh.
Oh, I love this game. It's so cool. It's one that I need to play more. I've only played it a few times, but every time I play it, it floors me with how fun and neat it is. It has a conveyor belt system. All those little chocolates sitting on there are on a conveyor belt, and you will get new pieces and you slide them in, and then everything that's in the new slot, like one space over, you can activate the machines that are on it, upgrade the chocolate, refine it, put it in boxes, put a nice bow on it. And it's a contract fulfillment type game. You want to, get some of the nice blue boxes. You want to get some of the red wrapped candies or the yellow wrapped ones and stuff to fulfill contracts and sell them off and complete little objectives. I like that part of it, but man, the conveyor belt is so fun. It's basically a movable track. And I love tracks.
I have still not played this. And Mother's Day is coming up, and Mother's Day you're supposed to get chocolate factories, right?
Yeah.
The whole
yeah.
chocolate factory.
The whole factory.
The whole factory. I mean, you have high expectations.
Yeah.
Well, at least the
All
game.
right.
Yeah,
I usually just want to
You
play
had
the game.
maintenance.
I'm going to give you a chocolate factory. Put it next to your 74 carat diamond.
Yes.
Golly.
Because I ball like
It's
that.
made out of carrots.
It's just a bunch of carrots
dear.
together.
In the shape of a diamond. I know what to get you for Mother's Day
High
now.
quality.
There you go, yeah. Subtle
So-
hints, subtle hints. That was good.
There you go. Number 87 is not only a great board game, but it's also a great Mother's Day gift. You heard it from Wendy.
My 87, I think, is the newest game on my list. It is pretty new, actually. But I played it a couple different times, and I think it surprised me how much I liked it. It is also another roll and write. I promise my whole list is not roll and write. Actually, there's very few in less than 50. But my number 87 is Explorers. In this one, you are going through and whatever there's theme behind it. This is not one that you get in for theme, as much as I love theme.
Yes.
Do you make
I
X's?
win.
You make X's!
In grass this time, yes!
Right, yes. And so
Across the sea.
yeah, I like this simultaneous play in the roll and writes where you're turning something over, and if you're the active player, you get to make a choice that most benefits you, and then everyone else gets a choice based on that. If they make the same choice as you, they can also do additional exploring, but not quite as good, or they can choose the option that you didn't choose and have mark off additional spaces. So terrible job explaining it. We do have a playthrough. Check that out. But I really enjoy this. I think the board is modular. It's a dry erase board and it's modular. I really like that. So whoever the first active player is, you kind of set the board up. So it'll be a little bit different each time. And then also there's an advanced play as well, which gives you different ways to score. So again, like the other roll and writes, I mean, broken record here, you can pick it up really quickly as you're going through kind of minimal questions that you have to ask, maybe, oh, what's this do again? But that's about it, maybe once, twice a game on your first play. But it's really simple to pick up, but you feel like you're making meaningful decisions, and that's really big for me. So this is, the newest game on my list is Explorers.
I really like this one. It gives me vibes of almost like a kingdom builder type game.
Yeah.
Not
It
sure if you've
super
played
makes
it.
me think of, yeah.
But it's just smooth. I don't know. It almost smoothens it out, makes it smaller and simultaneous.
Okay, right, and I really like that simultaneous. It's pretty quick too, over 4 rounds. And I think too, I really like the scoring in this, where you have things that you score in game and end game. So again, you're kind of trying to balance those two things. And some things score consistently through the game, so maybe your focus is that on the beginning, but then you don't want to forget about those end game things either. So I think it's a really cool balance of trying to do multiple things as well.
Because you can't do everything.
You cannot.
Yeah.
Well, you can, but you lose.
I will do everything.
Okay, and lose.
I will do everything. It's just cheating. I'm just going to march. I put an X on every spot on the board.
Done.
You're
Done.
definitely
Yes.
gonna write X's. That's what you're
Yeah,
gonna
why are you guys so bad at this game?
I get your terrain and my terrain and Roy's terrain, everybody's terrain.
Roy doesn't have to write.
Done. X's everywhere. All right, my number 87 is Sonora. This game, actually, we replayed this last week, and I think that if I were to make this top 100 today, it would be higher on my list. Because just replaying it, that's the thing, is you play a game and you're like, this is why I loved it so much. This is why I put it on my list. It's awesome. So this is a flick and right game. I think you already talked about this yesterday, right?
Kristen.
It was on my list.
Kristen, okay. It's a flick and right game, so yeah, you're basically playing Crokinole, and then wherever your discs land, you then take that information and you put it on your roll and write dry erase board. And it's super cool because you can get your little discs on these tiny little spaces. If you happen to be really precise, which Chris is and I'm not, you can actually get 2 times multipliers, and your discs are numbered 1 through 5. And so early on, you're hitting each other's discs around. You probably want to start with your lower discs. But then later, if you can get a really good hit right towards the end with your high number 5, you can get like 10 instead of 5 points to put on your board. It's just super awesome. Love this game. There's lots of Tetris-y stuff. There's fun numbers. It's just basically like 4 little mini games that you're playing with it. And so it's awesome. Yeah. So that is my number 87, Sonora.
So my 87 is a pressure luck game that gives me a vibe similar to Ink and Gold, but it's actually a much bigger game, and that is Android Infiltration. So this is a game where you are a runner, basically going through this compound, going up cards, and it's all very cyberpunk, and it's got that like Android Netrunner sort of feel to it. But you're all different runners trying to go in there and get data files, and you'll be flipping over different cards as you're going through. There's all sorts of different abilities to kind of like unlock doors or like be able to move further in, and basically you can go as far in as you want. And normally the further in you go, the more data files you'll be able to collect. These data files are going to have like 1s, 2s, or 3s on them. And then at the end of the game, if you're able to get out, whoever has the most data files will win the game. But if you get stuck in there, you lose. So you're trying to go in as far as you can, grab as many data files as you can, and as other players are pushing further and further, you're just like, I don't know that I should continue to push further and further. I think I should get out because we are running out of time. There's a lot of things. There's like basically like a countdown card of like the security alarm, and there's other like NPCs that you're kind of like interacting with that are kind of like making the alarm go up faster or trying to damage your guy so he can't run as far because now he's injured. There's all sorts of crazy stuff, and it feels very thematic as you're a runner going through this different compound trying to collect data in a cyberpunk world, and that is like just a bigger Ink and Gold sort of feel to it.
That's funny.
Interesting.
I'm not familiar with this one. When you said Android Infiltration, I thought Android Mainframe.
Right, which is
that
the abstract one.
Yeah, the
that came
really
out way
ugly.
later.
Yeah, I was like, what is Roy talking about?
And this is
I thought you
Daniel
were talking
X.
about Netrunner. So
This
I was
is
like,
X
I don't
Vaccarino.
understand,
So this
but
is made by the same guy who made Dominion.
Oh, really?
So it's another one of his games. I know some of his other games aren't necessarily as highly regarded. I really enjoy Infiltration, and I don't think as many people talk about it or play it that much. But I've had a blast
It's
playing.
also very thematic for him.
Yeah, there's a lot of theme. I'm
super
sure the
theme.
theme came from Fantasy Flight, but yes,
Probably
it's a fun
fair.
game.
In 10 minutes, I think we referenced all of Donald Vaccarino's big games: Dominion, Kingdom Builder, and this one now.
There you go.
But yeah, so Infiltration, my 87.
All right, let's jump back to an older classic here. We just replayed this one recently, and I don't know. It used to be at 1.22. Previously on my list, is now sitting at 86. The game's called Five Tribes.
Okay.
This is one that I'm sure could kind of it could fluctuate a
Could
lot.
go all over the place.
You know, but as of right now, we haven't played it as much. But man, even when we played this like 2 weeks ago, it is smooth. It is so good. It does lock up because the point of the game is you have all these meeples on these spaces. You grab all of them from one space and you mancala them. You move around and you drop one off at each space that you go through. Wherever you land, you activate it. You activate the color of the last meeple you drop. Activate the tile. Maybe buy some genies. Get some powers. Having not played this game in probably at least 4 years, we picked it up without a hitch. We're like, okay, green ones do this thing, red ones do this thing, white ones do this thing. I think we had to look up just what the special genie powers were, the Jinn powers were.
Okay.
I think that was
There's
it.
some symbology to it.
Even though this is an involved game and it has a lot of heady decisions, it's so intuitive, it's so well made. This is fantastic. I really love Five Tribes.
Yeah, it's a good game.
There you go. That's my 86.
All right. My 86 is, I'd have to look, but I think it might be my highest party game.
Yeah, I'd have to double check that. So,
You like to party.
but yeah, I'm clearly a big partier.
You're basically the Venga Boys incarnate.
Right. My 86 is Obscurio. I like this game. It kind of gives me the same vibe as that other game that I'm blanking on right now. Mysterium. Thanks.
Thanks, disembodied voice.
Yeah. Right. Kind of gives me the Mysterium vibe, but I feel like this is just a little bit more intuitive, a little bit more streamlined, whatever. And I like the kind of the betrayer aspect of it as well. So in this, I mean, the theme first. Here we go. You're in a big library, and there's a grimoire, and you're trying to escape the library. The grimoire is trying to tell you how to get out of the library here. And so whoever is playing as the grimoire is giving you two of these circle pictures and is pointing to something on them to try and tell you which door to go through. Okay, so on this picture, there's one specific thing they point out. It might be a color, it might be a shape, it might be some other connection, so trying to give you a connection to one of these doors, and then you go through and you each individually choose which door you think they're trying to get you to go through. But there's a betrayer who's kind of trying to sway the discussion some other way, and trick you. So I really enjoy it. I think it plays really smoothly. Again, that hidden traitor kind of aspect. As well as just trying to infer information from someone who can't say anything, I think is a lot of fun and brings up a lot of really interesting dialogue. So
I feel like I would really enjoy this game. I've never had a chance to play it.
Oh, really?
But I think that I should, because I feel like it would be fun.
I like all those ingredients. I like Mysterium. I like comparable games.
Yeah. And it has a pretty large player count. It's definitely something we could do.
I enjoy inferring information,
Yeah.
or as I call it, information.
Information.
So my 86, Obscurio.
Well, my number 86 is less thematic. It is mobile markets. Shocker. What? No, so this is basically like a small card version of Smartphone Inc. Not the same game, clearly, but there's a lot of cards going on. And what you're doing is you're making cell phones, and you're trying to kind of choose what you're going to put in them so that you can sell them at a high price, or maybe you want to sell them at a low price and just sell a ton of them before anybody else can. It's got a cool player interaction with that as you're trying to bid prices and you're trying to decide how much income you can get, and ultimately you win by making the most money. But yeah, I enjoy this game because it takes some of the stuff that I love from Smartphone Inc. and it kind of parses it down. I really enjoy the kind of action selection mechanism. It's not quite action selection, but you've got these boards, and whatever icons are showing at the end of however you place them on top of each other, that's what you get. And so it's a fun, weird puzzle that then determines what you're going to do on that round. So I think that that's super cool. Yeah, this is a super fun game.
I disagree with you.
You disagree?
I as well.
I disagree because I think this game is actually thematic.
Okay, that's
A
fair.
lot of aspects of it really are.
I mean, it's thematic in the sense of it does what it's supposed to do.
It's a more sterile theme, right?
Yeah.
But it is market, it's economics, it's undercutting and pricing and development of technology and stuff. I think it is quite thematic.
I like that stuff. It's great. So that's my number 86, mobile markets.
My number 86 is Chibi Marvel, but specifically X-Men. Marvel United X-Men is my 86. I really enjoy Marvel United, and this is both Marvel Uniteds technically, but I enjoy playing through all the different characters, and it's a cooperative game where you have the different little chibi guys and you're running around trying to stop the different villains and bad guys. And the cool thing about the X-Men one is you can use some of the villains as actual heroes in the game as well, so there's a little bit of gray area there on which side you can have these different characters on. We haven't got our full pledge of this yet, but I'm sure there's just going to be massive amounts of this to play. I've had a blast playing it. The reason this is so low for me is probably because the decisions come really easy, but I've had a blast playing with my kids, so that puts it back on the list. But it's a lot of fun just going around trying to overcome your adversaries in the game as you play all these cool Marvel characters.
There's a picture of us taking down old Maggie Boy over there. Magneto's down.
Actually,
Gotta make it happen.
On his side.
Destroyed.
Wrecked.
All right, 85 is new to the list. It is one that we have played with our kid, and this is I believe this is our most played game of this year. Do you know what it is offhand?
I would have said Marshmallow Test.
I would have said Marshmallow Test.
We haven't played that much this year.
This year.
Starts with M. Rhymes
Marshmallow
with
Test 2.
Bike Row City
Micro City.
Or
yeah.
Micro Macro.
so good.
Dang it, I said it wrong. Micro Macro Crime City.
Yeah, that's fair.
I got it wrong.
This is probably. I mean, I might prove myself wrong, but this is probably my favorite, like, detective-y type game, where you have this huge fold-out map that it harkens back to road trips, if you've ever tried to, fold back up one of those maps. But it's just a big, cartoony map filled with those types of drawings of detailed little people, and it's amazing because each character is drawn differently enough because you have to follow them through different parts of this town to figure out what the crime was, who the perpetrators and the victims were. It's really neat. It's not a snapshot of time because the same person will appear at different points around the map. Clearly this happened before. Clearly this happened earlier. And so you are solving a crime with just these little Where's Waldo-ish type of a thing. It's amazing. And it works really well with our kid. They've ranked in the newest printing the ones like that are less child friendly. So we've played everything in the box of the first 2 levels, and then we're gonna kind of go through the other one.
We're gonna approve the future ones.
Yeah. Did you already have this on your list, or someone? No. Okay. Cool. I don't know why I thought that, but there you go. Micro Macro Crime City, my number 85.
I really want to play this one. I actually have a copy of it that I just got from Z, but I want to actually get a chance to actually play it out just because it looks fun, and I love the idea of doing the whole Where's Waldo, trying to find the stuff that you need to find to win the game.
It is, and I think it plays best. I would say like 2 or 3, because it can definitely get that bumping head effect when you're like,
there's so much.
right.
Also, good lighting. We tried playing it in a room with not as great lighting, and my eyes were just like, wow.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it is super
It is a lot
fun.
of fun.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Thank you.
Right. There you go.
Camilla approved.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about my 85. Okay. All right, my 85, arguably maybe more of an activity, but I don't care because I love it anyway.
It counts.
Lawn darts.
What?
That
No.
would not count.
Oh, no.
Take
no,
it
no.
back.
It is Catapult Feud or Catapult Kingdoms. I don't know which one is on here. Catapult Kingdoms. It went through a name change, so I think now it's Catapult Feud. But anyway, so in this game, you are building a castle with these blocks, and you're setting up your soldiers on it, and then you have a catapult, and you are launching rubber balls at each other, trying to take down all of their soldiers, and it's just destruction. Like, it's so much fun. I love it. I've played this so much with my son and with his friends, and I may have played it with adults, also.
Can you
after they
invite
went to
Johnny over? I
bed,
want to play
it's like,
Catapult
hey,
Kingdoms again.
yeah, I was like,
There you
hey, you go on to bed. We'll clean up, and then we sit up and play. So it is just so much fun. Everything you can do with building your castle and taking that moment to try to reinforce it, and maybe I try and overthink it as I tend to do. But it's a lot of fun, and then it's just destruction
And min-maxing.
and
Per
min-maxing.
Camilla,
Yeah. So I love it. Yeah, Catapult Kingdoms have had a lot of fun with this activity game. That's my number 85.
Dexterity game. It's a dexterity game. It counts, totally. All right, my number 85 is a game that I'm sure is on Chris's list and much higher, and that is Golem. You didn't do this one yesterday,
You know
right?
nothing about
Okay.
me.
I was like, there was a weird part of me that's like, oh no, he said this yesterday, didn't he? No. Golem is a tracks game and a engine building game and all of those other wonderful things that I love and adore. So what you're doing is you're drafting marbles. That's what they're called. You put these marbles in this little thing that rolls them out, and then you draft them, and depending on the marble color and the action and stuff, you get to take some actions, and you get to do awesome things on this board. So basically, if you can help me explain this theme, because I still don't fully understand it, it is about these golems, which I guess is Jewish lore?
Jewish mysticism, yeah.
Yeah. And these golems, basically you have to keep control of them, and so the tracks in the middle, your person who's created the golem has to stay close enough to the golem that they can maintain control. That way they don't get loose and wreak havoc on everything. But there's some other cool theme to it. Right?
Yeah,
That's
there's
the general idea.
elements of it.
Chris
yeah.
knows more about this. I'm showing my ignorance, definitely.
I mean, the theme is there-ish.
Tracks.
The theme is track. I mean, I play for the tracks.
That's all I'm hearing.
I come for the tracks. I stay for the marbles. I mean, that's what this is. But yeah, so that is my number 85 is Golem.
My number 85 is a game that has a ton of table presence with this gigantic moving tower, and that is Dark Tower.
Cool.
So, Return to Dark Tower is a game. It's cooperative. It's actually really fun, and it's not even as complex as you might think it is, because you're all working together trying to fulfill different quests and different things. But at the end of each player's turn, you're dropping skulls in this tower that could fall out at different spots and will trigger different things and add corruption to the land and can destroy your different buildings that you need to be able to fulfill your quests and upgrade your stats and things like that. I really enjoy this game. It's got app integration, so you're like going through different like mazes and puzzles and things like that with the app, and the combat's actually pretty unique as you're trying to like have enough resources or enough warriors to be able to fight things off and figure out how far you can press your luck as you're fighting different bad guys and things like that. And you can use those warriors to kind of downgrade the different bad guys you're fighting against. So yeah, it's a fun game to play together with people. I played it with Chris and Wendy and my girlfriend, Ruthie, and we had a blast playing it, and I've enjoyed playing it a bunch of times. I played it when it's still in prototype form as well, so it's cool to see the progression of the game and how it is now. It's a cooperative game that's not quite as complex as you would think it would be, you know.
I think
For
the
the
app
size and the
does.
epicness.
Right.
Yeah, I think the app helps streamline a lot of that.
That helps streamline it, and the fact that the player board just feels like it's really well laid out, just saying exactly what you can do on your turn. You can just look down and be like, oh, I can gain warriors at this place, or I can do this thing and get that, or I can go here and get an item, you know. It makes it very simple, and I feel like it feels like more of a, I guess, welcoming game than people would assume looking at this gigantic dark tower on the table.
I mean, that tower's pretty welcoming.
Yeah.
Like,
I
if I
enjoy
saw
it.
that and I was like, oh, that's a game.
It's definitely expensive for what it is,
Nice.
but I enjoy it, and that's Return to Dark Tower.
It didn't quite make my list, but if I had to pick, big, epic, cool things like that, this is hard to beat.
This is
That
one I'd
tower is
love to
really
play
cool.
with people at a con, or if I had people over, like bring it from the Dice Tower library and like, be like, oh, let's try this thing out, because it's just so different from other games with that tower.
It's one I haven't had a chance to yet, but I think I did the unboxing for it.
I
and
think
it's
you would
definitely
like it.
oh, the whole time. So lots of gushing.
Also, don't drop your tower. That'd be terrible.
Did you drop our tower?
No, I didn't.
Get out.
That
No.
would be terrible.
Collectively, we all held our
can tell
breath.
me.
Like,
Right.
all right, let's move on. All right, my number 84 is, this is more of a Roy pick. I wonder if this is going to make your list or not, right? You okay?
No, I just made me really happy inside.
You look like you're
I'm
almost
surprised
choking.
that, I'm surprised that anything on your list could be titled as a Roy pick. Is it brown?
Yes.
Okay,
but
I like
the
brown
good
games too
kind.
sometimes.
The good kind of brown.
Look, my number 84 is a game called Lord of the Rings: Journeys in Middle Earth.
Nice.
I'm curious if they're gonna make your list or not. You don't have to say anything, of course, right? But this is basically a Lord of the Rings kind of reskinning of Mansions of Madness, which is an awesome game. It didn't make my list. I think that overall I prefer the Lord of the Rings mechanically. I think it has a couple of cool things to it, where instead of rolling dice for combats, you have a hit deck. And that deck is also special abilities you can get. So if you choose really cool special abilities, you're probably taking away the, when you flip over cards for damage, the likeliness of actually hitting. So I like that push and pull and that balancing of when do I get awesome abilities, when do I leave cards in there that are more likely to hit. I like the level of exploration. You're exploring big tracts of land. You're going to come across hobbits cooking stew and be like, I'd like to talk with that hobbit. Why? I'm not really sure. We're trying to like chase down a Nazgul or something like that.
His stew.
But he's cooking stew. I want to. But the time pressure keeps me moving towards the objective.
Right.
But stew.
But hey, hobbit, what's up? So I don't know. It's a great level of Lord of the Ringsiness. Right. I love the theme. Occasionally, I do get really caught up in a theme of a game. I like the exploration. There's so much that I like about this, except for the fact that it's a campaign.
Right.
It's difficult because you can't even change the number of characters. So if you start a 3-player campaign, and one of the people like flakes out, you're like,
Got it.
hey Wendy, do we keep playing for a third character, just us two? So I haven't gotten terribly far in this, but I would love to have like a consistent ability to actually play through it because it's great.
How long is the campaign? I'm sorry, I cut you.
It's like 15 games or something like
games?
that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten
Yeah.
a good ways into them,
Yeah.
and they're all really cool.
Oh,
I
that
like
is
the
quite a
story.
commitment.
And they mix it up with the campaign a lot too. So sometimes you're fighting things, and then other times you're just like going through a tavern trying to figure out who the person you're trying to find is, and you're like just talking to people. So it makes the game kind of interesting.
Yeah, there's battle-specific map scenarios, and then there's a big exploration. So yeah, my number 84, Lord of the Rings: Journeys in Middle Earth.
All right. right.
Awesome.
My number 84 is a real-time game. I do love real-time, and it is Escape Zombie City. Escape Zombie City over the Curse of the Temple. Is it not? Hold on. Yep, that's definitely it.
Keep going. I don't have the picture.
Okay. But that is what it is. I like Escape Zombie City over the Escape Curse of the Temple.
I think the picture ran away.
The picture ran away?
Yeah, it was
That's
running
all
from the
right.
zombies, and that's what happened to it.
So yeah, I really enjoy this one over the Temple one just because of theme. I mean, the zombies. But in this, it's an exploration game, another cooperative game. And this one, in the real time, you have 15 minutes total. So it's a running clock the whole time, just 15 minutes. You know, you hit start and then you go. And there's a soundtrack with it that's going to play different sounds. So when you first start, you are trying to get out of the city and go and collect different items that you're going to need. So you're going to try and collect some fuel for the van, and you're going to try to collect some, you know, medical bags that you need. And so you're going out and you're finding the different tiles and collecting all these different items that you need. And then once you have all the items, you get in the van, and then you have to get the van to the exit, which hopefully you have found in all these tiles that you turn over, right? And so it's 15 minutes. But in that 15 minutes, there's 2 different times where everybody has to play a sound, and everyone has 30 seconds to get back to the middle in order to like kind of regroup, right? And if you don't make it back there, then you play the rest of the game with a handicap. And so it's stressful, and some of the other real-time games that might be on my list later have shorter periods, or like Rush MD, where you have play for 2 minutes and you kind of have that breather. This doesn't have that. It's that 15 minutes straight. And I think that that's really interesting, and just kind of a lot of tension build up. And it's 15 minutes, you know, and then you're done and you breathe and, you know,
Hope you didn't
calm
have a heart
down
attack.
and then play again, because that's how I roll.
This is on the Ketchupalooza list for me.
Really?
Because I really enjoy this Escape the Curse of the Temple, but we've never tried the zombie one.
We have
It's
not.
fun. Yeah, it's fun.
And it's 5 minutes longer. So.
I'm just more excited about Escape Curse of the Temple, so I just probably
Really?
play that.
Yeah.
I'm just not as big into zombies, but
I like it because the zombies, as they come out too, because as you explore a new tile, you have to look around and see if a zombie's there, and then if it is, then you have to fight. So in
Right, you have to roll
Escape
the
Curse of the
correct
Temple,
dice.
you're rolling to pick up the gems and that kind of stuff. In this one, you're to kill off the zombies, and they
Yeah.
you know kind of chase you through
That's
the
cool.
city and that kind of stuff. So it has a little bit more to it, I think. So yeah, my number 84, Escape Zombie City.
Nice. My number 84 is DC Deck Building Game. It is a terrible name for this game. I've always wondered why that's what it's called. But the DC Deck Building Game is the second deck building game that we ever played. So we started with Dominion as like our first gamer game. We loved it. We played everything. And that's very tight. Then we moved to DC Deck Building Game, and I was like, oh, this is like easy and relaxing, and I like the theme, and like I don't know, it was a lot of fun. It's less tight than Dominion in that way, but basically you've got superhero powers, and you're building a deck of various cards that don't really make sense while you're collecting villains and superheroes and stuff. But ultimately you're trying to fight supervillains and gain the most points. But what really did this for us, we loved this, and then they came out with a Crisis version, which is the co-op version. And that is, I think, when we like really went to town on this game, was just playing it cooperatively together as a family, as a group. It was very long cooperative. But that combination, I don't know. I can't decide whether I like it better cooperatively or not, but I love this game. There's tons of good stuff in it. And it also has a card for our daughter, Zatanna, which is great.
there you go.
That's
Because there's
true.
very few games that she's in, and it makes me happy.
Daughter's name is Zatanna. She's a superhero. So
Yeah.
for anyone who's like, what do you mean your daughter's a card in the game?
How old is she?
This is one of the few games that we ever like legit house ruled in our time, because I love the game too, but it's not terribly balanced, because there's a Superman card
Yes.
that says go through your discard pile, play every superpower card in there. And you're like, okay.
Wow.
Superpowers is one of the 4 categories of cards, so play every orange card. Ooh!
It's also a card
Yeah.
that just always, like, there's a pile that always sits out that you can buy.
Yeah, so we house ruled like
We super did.
at least that card, but there's a lot of nostalgia with
So
this.
you're on
There's
the
so much
playtest
nostalgia
team.
to
No, I'm
this.
just
No, yeah.
Should have been.
Like we've played this. This is one of those games that I could probably say I've put 100 hours into, like maybe more. I don't know. We played this so much, and so it's very nostalgic to me, and that's why it's my 84 DC deck building game.
So my 84 I would consider a straight up Euro game, but it has story elements in it, and that is Above and Below. This is a game where you're trying to build up your little buildings and trying to go explore underground a little bit to do those little cool little story missions. But really the main game is about like setting up your little market the best way to get as many points as you can. I really enjoy playing this game, and I love Ryan Laukatt's art for one, and then I also just love like the cool little stories that are in this game as you're going down there exploring and like trying to make sure you have like enough lanterns and things like that to be able to get positive benefits out of going down there. It's just a fun little game, and you have like a little reputation track as well like that, so when you encounter people, different things happen. But I really have enjoyed Above and Below, and this was like the first Ryan Laukatt game that I played, so it has kind of like that soft spot, you know, in my heart for like playing his games with the art that he has in there and the stories that he has going on in a lot of his other games. But yeah, I really enjoy Above and Below, so it's my 84.
I didn't know you like this game. That
Yeah,
makes
it's good.
me really happy. That makes me really happy.
Good stuff.
All right, going to number 83. This is an older game, and one that I don't hear talked about very much. At one point, this was 36 on my list. The game is called New York 1901. This is the first game that Blue Orange put out in their like hobby gamer line kind of thing, right? Like they're more.
They're not
'Cause, I mean,
spotted line.
Yeah, 'cause Blue Orange for a long time was like the Spotted company, and they made things like "Don't Eat the Diaper, Doggy," or it's just the kids games. But they were very good. They were better at making kids games. There was never one called "Don't Eat the Diaper," just to be clear. But they came out with a big box, a Ticket to Ride size box called New York 1901, and I love it. Vincent Dutrait artwork. It's a polyomino type game, but it's also kind of like an area. Not an area control game, but almost, right? You are trying to control majorities on these different streets. You are trying to control these different blocks within where you can build. And once you control enough, then you can lay out one of the buildings in, you know, the little Tetris-y shaped thing. It's really good, and it still holds up. It does help, though, that my stepdad is from New York City, and so he's incredibly charmed by this game. And so this is one of those family games that we pull out whenever we go and visit him. So I think that's part of the reason why this game is as endearing and enduring as it is for me. But it's great. If you've never tried it, I really do recommend, and I'm sure you can find it pretty affordably by this point. It's several years old. So yeah, number 83, New York, 1901.
All right, my 83 is a crossover with Wendy.
Oh.
Rush MD. Again,
Hey.
real time. Again, I like real time. I don't know what I could say. I mean, I could go into the theme. There's different hospital rooms, and in some of the hospital rooms, has a lot of mini games in it as well.
Yeah.
You know, in some games, you're trying to turn over and find a specific icon, you know, as you do go through like the virology department, or if you're doing an x-ray and so you're trying to find the right hospital bed in this like x-ray picture. So there's like, kind of these little mini games. You talked about how the dexterity of it, where you have to put the little cylinders into the syringe, but if you're doing surgery, then you have to do it with tweezers, and it's this whole like, you know. So yeah, so I don't know that there's much more I can say about it other than I really enjoy Rush MD. It is a crazy time. It's one that, you know, those 2-minute stints, or is it, I think this one's actually 4 minutes. It's a 4-minute stint, but that 4 minutes just like is simultaneously incredibly long and not enough time to do what you need to do.
Also, I totally cheated the first round.
Yes.
Like all the time, because I was like,
entire
there's so
time.
much going on.
Right. Yeah, but I really enjoy Rush MD, and I will definitely play it again with you.
All right, I like real-time games and stuff too.
Fine.
This sounds
We'll
good.
invite you also. We'll see.
May I sit in the other room and
Submit-
watch The Lord of the Rings while you play
You
Rush
can
MD?
submit an application for consideration.
All right.
Is this with the friendship application from last video?
Yes. No, I put that on a special filing cabinet called the trash can.
The shredder. Zzz.
All right. Number 83 for me is another push your luck game. This is Dead Man's Draw. This is a pirate-themed push your luck game where you're flipping over cards one at a time, and if ever a duplicate symbol comes out, you bust. But what's really cool is that you're collecting the cards in front of you, and the only ones that score is the highest of that suit. But also, every card that you flip over does a cool little action. So you can steal cards from other people. You can blow up other people's cards. You know, you can look and peek at the top deck. Like there's tons of little things, and it's super easy to teach. This is one of those games that you pull it out, you stick the stack down, and you say, I'm going to start my turn, and by the time your turn comes around, Roy, you're going to understand how to play this game. I just have to explain a couple action symbols. That's it. So it's very simple. It's very easy. You just pull it out and start going and playing. So Dead Man's Draw is awesome. That's my number 83.
A lot of push your luck on this chunk of the list.
Yeah.
So my 83 matches a theme of one of Chris's games, and that's Lord of the Rings with Battle of the Five Armies. We're taking it to the Hobbit with this one. So Battle of the Five Armies is kind of like a re-implementation of War of the Ring. It uses the same dice, but the game is very different overall. You're having just that Battle of the Five Armies, and there's a lot of different like terrain rules and like some like the way that units get destroyed, but it still has that interesting card play of like playing action cards for combat and for being able to use them for your dice and stuff like that as well. But I've really enjoyed this game, and it replays through the Battle of the Five Armies as you're like trying to figure out how to hold it down as the free peoples or the dwarves in Erebor as all these armies are coming in. This is after the good armies kind of allied together. But you're just trying to hold on as the Bjorn comes out and starts wrecking stuff, and then later on the Eagles come and like start wrecking stuff. So you're just trying to hold on as the good people as long as possible. Very much like Lord of the Rings, you're just trying to grab onto whatever straws you have left to be able to withstand the onslaughts of orcs and terrible things that are just messing you up. But I've had a blast with this game, and Battle of the Five Armies is a lot of fun.
Which would you recommend I try first? This one or War of the Bling, the original one?
War of the Bling, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
But you gotta play with the gigantic blinged wooden box.
Okay. Yeah,
No, I have the normal version. So.
I do want to try some of these ones.
Yeah, honestly, I think War of the Ring might be a little bit more straightforward than this one as far as like the mechanics go, which seems unintuitive. It's just the way you take damage on units and stuff like that in this game is a little bit more finicky, but it's mostly just straight up about battle. Like War of the Ring has a little bit more intrigue and stuff like that in it.
But are there eagles?
There are eagles in both if you add the expansion to War of the Ring.
But are there eagle powers?
What do you mean?
Let's
Nacho
make
Libre.
Like the band?
Nacho Libre.
No. There you go. Battle of the Five Armies, my 83. Nacho!
All right, number 82. Oh, cool, it is here. Okay. Yeah. My number 82 is Draftosaurus.
Hey!
Nice.
Same day.
Yeah, I really like
Our
this
80s
one.
are really like, okay, all right.
This is also like my drafting game segment, apparently.
Oh.
But no, this is, man, Draftosaurus is a fantastic little game. This is not the picture that I put in. I wanted to show off the picture that I took, Mike.
Picture you gave me.
Okay, well, I grabbed the wrong picture and I sent it to you, Mike. Anyway, this is such an adorable game. Everything that you said about it is true, right? Unlike most card drafting games, you're actually drafting meeples.
Yes,
Straight up, different colored little dinosaurs. Put them in your park. There's one aspect of it that's really cool where you roll a die, and that die is going to give you a restriction where you can put it. North half of your park, south half of the park, in a grass terrain or a dirt terrain or something. But if you're the first player, you know, if you're the one that rolls the die, you get to ignore it. So it's I don't know. It will create situations where everyone is going to make different parks, and I like that little aspect of it too. Like everything about it is stripped down and streamlined to exactly where it needs to be without getting rid of any of the fun.
Right.
So
Yeah.
There-
That's why you're so quiet. I was like, hey, feel free to help me out at all.
no, I
Time now.
no, sink or swim, baby.
All right.
Also,
All
Chris really likes dinosaurs.
That's true. I should have known.
Yeah, that's
All right.
true. You were really quiet on one of my picks earlier, which I know means that it's coming up later. So
My number 82 is low on the list because it is definitely been replaced by another one, which you'll see later. But my number 82 is Hostage Negotiator. This is a solo game.
what could have replaced it?
I don't know what could have
Ooh.
replaced it.
I will say this is probably not your final pick of these kind of games.
Oh, you go, girl.
Anyway, sorry.
So my number 82 is Hostage Negotiator. This is a solo game in which you are playing as a hostage negotiator, and you have a handful of cards that you are playing down and rolling dice to try to communicate with this bad guy who has taken hostages. And so you're trying to save the hostages and kind of talk him down to keep him from killing the hostages, save a certain number of hostage, and then take out the bad guy before everyone dies. And I just think it's a really good. This game catches some flack because it's so swingy, I think, with the dice roll and that kind of stuff. But what I think, I disagree strongly with that argument because I think there's so much mitigation in this game. And so I love that aspect. I love that where you have a lot of luck, but it's just chock full of mitigation. You know, you have control over how much time you're going to spend talking to the negotiator, to the bad guy. And, you know, are you going to spend a lot of time talking to him, or are you going to not spend as much time so that you have more points to buy additional cards and other talking points later, as well as giving away some of those talking points and, you know, making the decisions, you know what, I'm really not going to ask him this question, I'm really not going to do this. Instead, I'm going to use this in order to further my argument, you know, or better my chances, mitigate my die roll in order to score better on this objective with him. And so I really, really enjoy this. I've played quite a bit of it. I've not played the careers, which I really want to, but just the base game with the base guys that come in it, this is really, really fun. I think it's just chock full of theme. I think it is a great balance of luck, but with so much mitigation that just creates, again, you just see the narrative come out as you're going through, and I love it.
You got me at mitigation.
Okay, there you go. Mitigation. That's my new thing. You lose me at Brown, I get you at mitigation. Excellent.
I love it. I love it. Speaking of being caught at Brown, my number 82 is Newton, and this is a Euro game that as soon as I sat down at a table,
look at that Brown.
I saw it. I was like, this is a game for me. I am convinced that I love it. No. I absolutely love this, and I played it at a convention, and then I went to our Las Vegas local board game cafe, Meepleville, and it was missing the board, like one of the boards, and I was super sad because I didn't get to play it for like another 2 years before. I think after we moved here is when I played it again.
Oh wow!
Whoa, really?
Yeah, it was a long time that I didn't get to play this.
No, we bought it at the start of the pandemic.
Oh, we bought it. That's
okay,
right.
I thought you had this game.
Oh, we had it. Yeah, okay.
I swear I've seen
we
it.
do own it.
At your house.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
Things I forget. But anyways, I didn't play it for like 2 years. It was a huge long time. But I came back to it and I loved it still. And what's interesting so it's a Euro game where you're trying to fill in your bookshelves. And to fill in your bookshelves, you have to complete other things throughout the map. So you have to move across these little paths and kind of collect things, or you have to move around the map and go to certain locations. And you're doing all that by playing cards. What's interesting is you play like 5 cards in a round, and then one of those cards, you get to permanently take that action to upgrade a level of that particular action. So if you're saying, oh, I moved my dude once, but then later if I want to take and get rid of that card, I can upgrade permanently my movement action, so in the future I can always have a +1 more. Or if I want to draw more cards, or if I want to collect more things. Like it's really cool, and I love all that's going on in it. And it's ugly as I'll get out, but it is wonderful.
You said it, not me, but I agree.
Look at Newton's creepy face in that apple.
Yeah, that's super.
Look at me.
Super not great.
No.
Yeah, I love almost everything about this game. So my number 82 is Newton.
My 82 is another one of those card games that I was talking about, but it also matches the theme as another one of my picks from this section of the list, and this is Android Netrunner. So I used to say that Android Netrunner is like the best collectible card game / LCG out there, just because like the mechanics of this game and the meaningful decisions you do during the game are just ridiculous. Like you get 4 actions or 4 clicks per turn, or maybe you get more if you're the corporation, but it's asymmetric how you play, whether you're the runner or whether you're the corporation. And both sides have extremely interesting decisions to make. As a corporation, you're trying to figure out how to get these agendas built, and you're trying to build up defenses because the runners are going to be trying to come in and steal your agendas from you. And you'll be hiding them in your hand, or they could still be in your deck or in your discard pile, or you're in theory trying to like put them through these like different stacks that they have to run through, and you're trying to like actually figure out ways to score them. As the runner, you're trying to break through your opponent's defenses and find enough points worth of agendas for you to win the game. But the whole time you're trying to build up all this technology to help you break through all of their firewalls and be able to break through all the different things they put in place. And sometimes there's traps that are laid by the corporation. Maybe they have a card in their hand that's like just gonna wreck you if you pull it out of your hand. You're gonna end up having to discard cards out of your hand. As the runner, you can also take like brain damage, so your hand size is smaller, or do things where you take damage so that way you lose the game through wrecking yourself too much or wrecking your body in different ways. This game is very interesting, extremely thematic, and the meaningful decisions you make during the game the whole time are just like huge. Netrunner is like, A game that the reason it's so low on my list is just because you really have to have someone else that knows the game well.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you really want to have someone that knows the game to like the same level you do, because if they know it way better than you, you're gonna get wrecked. Because it's a very like a game that you can get better at. You know, you can deck build in certain ways where you can just wreck other players, and you really need to know the current meta of the game to kind of know what you're going to be going up against. I mean, if you just have like the core set of this and you play it back and forth a bunch, you can get a lot of play out of just that. But I think this game is currently out of print. I think Wizards of the Coast ended up taking the license back to it or something like that, so I'm not sure the current state of the game, but I've had a ton of fun playing it, and Netrunner is a great game. So
The current state of the game? Dead!
Well,
Where it belongs.
what?
This is my least favorite game that's been mentioned so far.
Really?
No,
Because you're
I'm
that
joking.
bad at it?
I think
no,
the
I'm
vocabulary
really disappointed that
lesson
you're
in the
joking.
rule book is
Wait, you have
unnecessary.
a game you hate more that's been mentioned?
No, this is the game that I hate the most.
Oh, you weren't joking.
I legit
You were
really
joking, you
hate
were
playing
joking.
this
Because
That
like
was really
learning how to play
confusing.
the game, or just like the mechanics themselves? Like I'm very confused.
I don't love what this game does, but also just the glossary, the diction, like the new dictionary you need to learn. It just
Instead of
doesn't
actions,
speak
it's
to my
clicks.
taste.
Instead of firewall, it's ice. Instead of, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
That seems not even nearly as hard as like the millions of icons you have to learn in like Euro games most
give
of the
me
time.
an
though,
icon.
so-
I don't know. They speak
Flashback.
to
Y'all
me.
had this argument like a couple weeks ago. I
But
just realized you were talking about this game.
I feel like
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
it comes out very
you did.
thematic. But this is a game that's like very deterministic as far as stuff goes. I mean, there's less luck in it. I mean, there can be a little bit of luck here and there, but playing the game well will win you the game. You know. So,
No,
I
mean,
just want to point out that you have 2 games about stealing people's private information.
yeah.
Are you a hacker?
Yes.
He also does
Have
run
you seen what I do
lot
for a
of
living?
our
I literally sit at a computer all day long and
What to say?
I'm gonna hack this video together. Boopity boop 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 boop.
Exactly.
Tom has a review out. I have a
gonna
review
jack
out.
into the Matrix, which is aka the Dice Tower
Oh.
YouTube channel.
That's what's on the back of your head. Now
It
I
costs us a lot of
understand.
money to get those ports put in. Anyway,
They're worth it.
Android Netrunner, my 82. Chris hates it.
Well, all good things have to come to an end, and so Android Netrunner ruined this entire list for me.
Yes.
I'm kidding.
It wasn't the final game of the show, so.
It's not. No, and I'm actually surprised. I feel like we've just been going. I'm like, I want to talk about more games, but
Yeah.
this is 81.
Always tomorrow.
There's always tomorrow. So my number 81. This is the beefiest, heaviest game that's been on my list thus far. More to come, but this one is called Cooper Island. I really like this one. This is it's a stunning production. It's really gorgeous. It's a heady worker placement game where you are kind of discovering this your peninsula of this island named Cooper Island, and it is a puzzly type of a game where you are laying tiles out onto your little chunk of the land. They have to like match terrain, and you can build them up. And every time that you build them up, you put a little resource on top of it. But if that resource is sitting on a stack of tiles 5 tiles high, that one resource bit stands for 5 of those resources. So the game just has this great growth curve to it. It has contract fulfillment, which I like, but also just you can focus on 5 different main scoring objectives, and you will do well at maybe 2 of them. It is so hard to scrape out points in this game. I think that the designer said, like, if you get like 35 points, like that's like an astounding game. And one time Wendy beat me 39-18.
I think it was 36.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not that.
sorry.
I'm not that amazing.
Yeah, it is so tough to scrape by points and just keep afloat. This is probably the tightest game that I really enjoy. But it's an excellent heavy worker placement game. If people haven't tried it out, I really do recommend it. Cooper Island is great.
It is super tight. I think I got 15 points my first time playing it. Like
Yeah.
it's
My 18-point game was when I was experienced.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh no, I did a
it's-
few things wrong. No!
it's tight, but it's good.
Yeah, I really like it. There you go, 81.
All right. My 81, I think, is on the other side. It's definitely I think it's a lighter game. It's a quicker game. It is, hold on, I gotta get it right. I can't remember which way it goes. Conspiracy Abyss Universe. I can't remember if it's Abyss Conspiracy or
mouthful.
Conspiracy Abyss. Yeah, so it is.
Oh,
I already
wow.
forgot. Conspiracy Abyss.
Conspiracy, Abyss Universe?
I think this name
Yes.
is a conspiracy.
Yes,
That's
so
how I'm
anyway.
feeling right now.
This is a game. I guess it's again a little sister to Abyss. Kind of. It's more just like in the universe. Mechanically, it's not very similar. But in this game there are 5 different colors, and each card has a score or a number on it, 0 to 6. And on your turn, you can draw 1 to 3 cards, and then you choose one of those to then play down into your pyramid that you're building. So you have a set number of cards that you're going to be playing the whole game. And what I like about it is you have that interesting choice of how many cards do I take, because like I said, you can take 1 to 3 or 0 to 3. 1 to 3, 1 to 3, and you have to play one. And the ones you don't take, you put out for somebody else to take. So they can either then take, again, 1 to 3 cards, or something that hasn't been taken that's then grouped by colors. Okay, and so I think it makes for some interesting choices of how many am I going to take and what am I maybe giving to somebody else. And you're ultimately trying to build, again, this pyramid tableau to maximize your points. You know, some cards are going to have keys on them, and if you get 2 keys that match, then you end up getting a location, which is either going to be some sort of endgame scoring condition or some superpower. Not superpower, that thematically doesn't fit, but you know what I mean, some special power. Superpower! Anyway, so yeah, as you do this tableau, it's pretty quick, it's pretty light, you know, definitely, again, can pick it up and go quick, but I really like it. It's gorgeous to look at, and I'm often distracted. As a shallow gamer, I very much appreciate the aesthetics of this game. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's another new one, not as new as the other one, but it's still new. But I've really enjoyed my plays of this game.
It's a good design. It does a lot with just you're going to build an array of it's just a little pyramid of cards.
Yeah.
But within that, you're like trying to balance 4 different things, like colors together. I need more special symbols.
Yeah.
I need these.
And
it's
I
really
really
good.
like that as you go, like you know from the beginning what that end game is, you know. I mean, when the tableau is finished, and so I really like that you see it going through. It's not that it can be triggered at any minute. It's you see it building to it. You know, I think that was a neat pressure to it as well, as you balance. Am I going to also go the whole way, or be able to finish the whole tableau, or be cut off early? And so yeah, it's really good. Conspiracy? Nope.
You got it.
Conspiracy, Abyss Universe.
Abyss Universe.
My 81 is a nigh impossible to find game, and that is Glory to Rome. Yeah, it is a rough and tough one to get. But it is a really cool game, and that is just cards played everywhere. Did I
can't
pick
tell
that?
what the cards are.
That's how gameplay looks.
Cool.
We don't own that tablecloth. I don't think you took that picture.
Oh, I don't know what's going on there.
Cool.
But anyways, in this game, this is all about
it's a
multi-use
looker, yeah.
cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. No, this is all about multi-use cards. These cards do everything. You tuck them on your board, you spend them as resources, they turn into buildings after you've built like your, what do you call it, landscape base plot?
Foundations, I
Foundation,
think.
there you go. That's the word. But yeah, it is all about just those choices of what do I want to spend this card on? Oh, I really like this ability. I really want to build it. But I want to also build up this engine over here by tucking these cards so that I can do more of this action. I want to tuck over here so I can do more of this action, and shovels and choices and all that wonderfulness. So this has so much going on, so many really good decisions. And if you can find somebody that has it, that's awesome. We do have it in the Dice Tower library, so if you come to Dice Tower East or something like that, you can play it.
She'll play with you.
It's great. Yeah, but that is my number 81, Glory to Rome.
It is a tough game to figure out from the rule book. At the last retreat, I saw some people like turning the pages and doing this number, and I was like, I haven't played this in a little bit. I'll teach it to you. It might be a rough teach, but it's not bad once you know it. But picking it up, and believe it or not, Camilla, this is not the ugliest looking printing of this game.
It's a cartoony version, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only played this version. I didn't play the cartoon one.
There is a Crime Against Board Games cartoony version of it. I'll show it to you later.
I don't know if my nightmares are ready for that.
Oh, they're ready.
Ooh.
That's a highly regarded game for sure. My 81 is a game that's basically a reimplementation of one that you mentioned on your last list, and Camilla hates it, but it's a great game, and that is Marvel Splendor. This is one that I've played.
This game!
This is a game that I
Can we
played.
stop?
I played it over and over again with my girlfriend Ruthie. We had a blast playing it. Basically, it's a game where I'll explain it to you since you didn't get the rules teach the first time.
Since you did not explain it well, I'm trying not to say you suck at teaching this game, but
You suck at learning games. But basically, you're trying to collect different heroes that have different costs. On your turn, you can collect different chips. You can either collect chips or you can buy cards. You can collect 3 different kinds, or you can collect 2 of the same kind of chip. And then you're also trying to get these cards out. If you get more cards out, those cards basically count as you to being able to spin them as that color chip. So basically, as the game progresses, you'll be able to build up more and more collection of these cards, so you'll be able to get cards for cheaper. So instead of having to grab chips, you can just be like, oh, I can get that card for free. Oh, I can get that card for free. And now I have these cards, I can build this up. You're all racing to try to get to, I think, like, it's either 12 or 15 points. To get the Infinity Gauntlet, you have to have one of each color. You have to have one of each color, and then you have to also have one of the Time Stone tokens or whatever to be able to gain the victory for the game. It's kind of like a race to that point count. But it's a lot of fun to play. I played it over and over again, and it's just basically a tiny little engine builder, just building up engines of colors of cards. But yeah, it's super quick, super simple, and this one's basically the same thing as regular Splendor. It's just got the fact that you're trying to collect Avenger symbols as well. I think maybe a different matchup of the different colors that you're trying to go for to get a little bit of bonus points.
So of all the Marvel-themed games,
this is not very thematic at all, but it's quick playing, you know.
Is this like the least thematic Marvel game that you think you've ever played?
I mean, probably, yeah, because it just doesn't really fit that at all. But I do like the art on the cards. I like being like, oh, I can go get Vulture now, and I can go get that character now. There's no theme here. It's just engine building, set collection. I really like light family weight Euro stuff, and that's kind of what this fits into. So.
It really
It does, yeah.
It's smooth and it's good, yeah.
Yeah.
I just laugh every time I see that cover.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like Splendor, Marvel, what? I enjoy it. I've had a blast with it. So my 81.
Wow.
So there we go.
We did it. We did it. We made it through. It's pretty awesome.
2 down.
We didn't strangle anyone! Yay!
I kept my voice the whole time.
There we go. The real
Yes.
winner.
I
So
dissed
hard.
on you, you dissed on her, she dissed on you. Wendy, be mean to someone before we wrap up.
Real-time surgery.
Wait, you're
not
doing
me.
real-time surgery? I get out of here.
I'm out.
No. Thanks so much for joining us on the Dice Tower. I'm Wendy Yi.
I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
I'm Chris Yi.
And I'm Roy Cannaday.
Have fun making your own top 100.
And come back tomorrow.
Tomorrow.